Odds are you're not. So we have a premise here. We were talking about this. Started yesterday. Again, another conversation started like some of these start like the day before. We formulate them through the night and then through the morning. This is how much we spend.
A lot of research. A lot of time.
It's not research. It's like brain power, which we're stupid. Anyway,
a think tank.
The premise is we think guitar players might be bigger nerds than Dungeons and Dragons players.
Yes.
Is your pedal count higher than your body count? Most assuredly, yes. Then join our club, be one with us, embrace your nerdiness, and let's journey down together. Let's talk about your life's goals and your path to get there.
I mean, because like, we've lived long enough. The nerdy D&D people are now, like, old enough to be influential. So that's cool, like in Stranger Things.
It was not cool back in the day.
No, it wasn't.
Being a nerd was not cool back when nerds...
No, and you were absolutely a nerd if you played D&D, which yes. I
like in Stranger Things.
Played D&D.
Yes.
I have also...
We never had the real things because my parents wouldn't buy it. Because they were like, oh, it's expensive and it's like devilly.
We made our own stuff. We knew this weird old guy, like in Stranger Things, who had it.
Eddie, we're coming.
That's right. Who probably played guitar as well. There's some crossover, especially for the 80s.
Damn, this is it's all so close.
Yeah. But... yeah, no, it's cooler right now.
So back in those days, like for us older chaps that sort of lived through this, like the nerds were sort of isolated and separated, and that's part of like why I've talked about, like why there's so many boys that play guitar too, and not just because of like the rock star dominated portion, but it's like, because guys, like we're in that young form of age, we are looking for something to give us meaning and self-worth, and to get the attention of the fairer sex too.
That's true.
And so we would spend hours upon hours alone, isolated, playing Smoke on the Water and scales and chords to where it sounds like a song, or more than words if you grew up in the 90s like me in that respect, and learning that stuff, minus the little ending tap part, just to impress the opposite sex again. And it became, and that was not smiled upon by the masses back then.
Right.
We were separated, and it was okay, but the dividends paid off later. Once you reach like late high school and college, like that dude plays guitars, he gets mad attention from the girls now.
Yeah.
But it was a cost. And like whereas like a lot of young female artists that we have more young female artists playing than ever before now, which is amazing. But a lot of them, they found self-worth in different ways.
That's true.
Unfortunately now with social media, it's like ruining everything. But let's jump back to our original premise. So we dove down this road. We've explored it, but now, do we actually love these things like pedals and guitars and amps more than the pursuit of the opposite sex?
Yes. Well, but there's a weird thing right now, especially with social media, and just like everything goes in trends, right? Everything moves. It's the whole idea of sort of being nerdy is kind of cool right now.
Exactly.
It's cooler than ever before to be nerdy.
Yes.
Right? I mean, like, it just kind of is.
100%.
And I mean, even sort of our guitar heroes like Polyphia. I mean, I know those guys are covered in tattoos.
Those guys are nerds, though.
But they're nerds.
Like, when they do their playing thing, and they do, like,
yeah.
Like, the little squeeze thing, they do the eyeball thing. They're sort of having a tongue-in-cheek sort of, like, thing with that. Or, like, I remember watching Pee Wee Herman as a kid, and my dad would come and be so furious. Because he was like, I don't want you being influenced by that. Or I remember watching Revenge of the Nerds, if anybody remembers that movie.
Yeah.
Like, man, I really like the nerds. My dad was like, the nerds suck. The jocks are the cool ones. Even though the jocks are the bad guys in that movie. But my dad was a jock.
No.
My dad used to like beat up nerds and hippies in school, I think. He was a football player.
I mean, but how many movies did we see like that in the 80s and the 90s where like you saw the jocks are actually not good people.
Right. Well,
and then the kind of nerdy person becomes the hero, right? Now I feel like,
No, but now like the nerds are sort of almost take it over.
Yeah.
And so like this pedal collecting, like the fact that we can do this is okay. Like I was like, I can relate with these younger kids more than I ever could have when I was a younger kid.
Yeah.
Because like they're all playing Call of Duty. We're talking about proximity chat. We're talking about like certain bands that we all know about, and it's okay to be a geek.
Well, I mean, like
you just have to hide it.
It's part of it that like YouTube and just social media, the internet in general, you can find all the other nerds.
God, there's that.
You know what I mean? You can sort of band together, and it's like, oh, we're all cool. We like It's fine that I go on YouTube.
Well, let's go back to the body count pedals too now. And the body count, it's such a horrible thing. Like, this is a thing that's become a thing on social media now. Where people are like, that's how many people have you slept with, is what it means. Not how many people have you killed. Sorry if you're a mobster and like you just got all excited. You're like, oh, they're talking to me.
My body count's up there. It's way high.
It's pretty high. Hey,
I'm a pro
the
assassin.
Iceman.
Yeah,
Cool.
no.
Great documentary.
Sorry.
He's like the top mob killer. He killed like a ton of people. It's pretty amazing. But no, it's like I think almost 1,000%, which isn't a thing. 100% of us we're all pedal higher.
Yeah.
You know, like how many pedals have you had? Like, because you
Jesus.
bought and traded and sold and
I don't know. I really don't know. A lot.
a lot,
A lot of them.
like over 20,
Yes.
over 30.
I own over 20 now. Those are rookie numbers, Baxter. You got to up your game.
Oh Lord.
I mean, yeah, God, I was trying to put a second board together last night. So that's not a thing. But
I bet a lot of people relate with that.
they do. I'm sure they do.
Well,
'cause
it's
it's
part of that.
fun.
Just it's the fun of it, right? It's kind of
fun.
like we used to build model airplanes and like people play Warhammer and stuff now, or like we do D&D and stuff. But now like pedal boards can be a thing where there's a functional output of it where it seems like you're not playing with toys.
Well, and I mean, you are playing with toys. You want to put this thing together that makes it cool. I mean, I went through a long phase where like all my pedal boards were very utilitarian. And now I have enough pedals over the years that I can put a board together that just does dumb things. It just does like
so
dumb
I love
sounds. But it's fun.
It is fun, isn't it? Like I even like the idea. I don't play with pedal boards, but I like the idea of it because it's fun and exciting. I always find like, oh, I just like the amp better.
But you can be like, how neat and tiny can I make it? And it's, I mean, I like way huge pedals because I think the boxes are cool. They're big and
cool.
clunky and they have cool colors and they have funny names. And so I want to.
Tone Tuga pedals are pretty too.
Tone Tuga
Those
pedals
really-
are amazing.
I just like the way they all look like pieces of art.
They are pieces.
And they
of
sound gooder too.
They do.
God, I lost my train of thought. I was playing last night, and they're like, "Hey, do you have any pedals?" I was like, "I'm not going to use pedals." And the Princeton reverb was so good with just the reverb.
It just turned
I
up.
had the reverb pretty juiced. Like I was up at like 4, and it just like when it starts sort of, and I had the amp about at 8.
Yeah.
So when it was doing all these magical things, I was like, "Oh my God!" And I was just using volume with my guitar, and it was like but that was almost like a dummy's version of playing with pedals, like me.
I mean, I'm trying to want to make this comparison without being too risque, but in some ways, all the pedal boards we're putting together are really trying to achieve that, and we forget it. Like the
Okay.
magic of a reverb and a loud amp, right? But I mean,
so much fun.
usually you end up going overboard with the pedal effects. Sort of like when you could, maybe speak or talk to or interact with a real member of the opposite sex, and now it's so easy to do it online.
Why would
or
you
a
do
fake,
that though? It sounds like a horrifying idea.
mean, it is.
I'm
It's
scared.
terrible. Yeah.
I don't want to talk to them.
Can't speak. Yeah, that's true.
Now I'm still amazed. Like my wife, like gets in bed with me, and I don't have to like try to get her to get in bed with me. She's like gets in bed. I'm like awesome.
She's
like,
resigned to it.
Like yeah, I know. She's excited. She jumps in
like-
bed. Like we have like fun. Like and we talk and we
Play
do
Scrabble.
other things like Scrabble. And but it's just like
Words with friends.
it's just God. You remember, is that the game like that people were playing for a minute? Like oh God.
It was basically Scrabble
They
on
all,
your
yeah,
phones.
they all tried to get me into that. I was like, I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good. I didn't like Scrabble as a game. I don't like it as an internet thing. No, it's just. I think it's a fascinating place we're in right now, where it's like we truly are the nerds.
Yeah.
The guitar players, like we're supposed to be those sexy Eddie Van Halen,
Yeah.
Jimmy
I mean-
Page guys, but those guys are cool. Never mind, they're not nerds too. I was gonna say they're nerds. They're not.
The thing that separates it, other than being amazing actual players, we just know too much about the people who are guitar players now.
Well, that's just part of the fame path too. Is like you have to almost be like a social media person where you have this connection and.
Yeah, once I've seen you in your pajama pants in your living room, you're not Eddie Van Halen anymore. You're not that cool.
I think Eddie Van Halen's always Eddie Van Halen though, because just the fact because he's from that time too.
That's part of it.
like the late '70s, '80s, and like the peak of like just rock star sexiness and sexitude. Sexitude, it's a new word. Like catitude. It's a record out there somewhere. I know it's out there. I played on
Is
it.
that the one we were talking about?
Yeah, when I played on it, this young, I can't remember her name. She hired
Well, we
me to
never
play guitar
found
on
it.
it.
Yeah.
And the song was called Catitude. It was on a tape cassette. I can't
someone would
find it
find that
anywhere.
and send it to us. I
would
wanna
love-
hear it so bad.
I know. I want to hear it too. I can't. It's just Catitude, or something. She was so nice. I just can't remember her name. It was awesome and
Catitude.
hilarious. There's other Cat2 things out there. It's probably not it, but no. But just let us know your thoughts and like your experience with being and accepting the nerd that you are. And if you don't think you're a nerd, just take a good look in the mirror. Look at your pedal board. Like how many, like crazy wild experiences that I've had out there in the life, or how many pedals do I have? And you're like, these pedals are my crazy experience sometimes.
My pedals have led to some pretty fun out there real life experiences.
But you have, because but most people don't actually do like what you do too. Like
I'm just saying, you never know.
So let those pedals lead you something. And D&D now can actually. So this is the cool thing. We have this cool place, Hit Point Hobbies down in Aberdeen, where people will do like the Magic the Gathering, D&D, and like the card battle games. And it's like it's not this like Castaway offshoot. Like I've seen females there before now. I know, like attractive females that are into this now.
There's literally a place called the Nerdy Collective in downtown Hamlet that is you can go play Magic the Gathering tournaments and stuff.
So it's like hats off to all. Hats off. What is this again? Is that the Boy Scouts?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I don't know. Or is that the Hunger Games thing? I don't know.
Probably both.
I don't know. I hope it's not some like offensive thing. If it is, I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know.
How you know that this is unscripted?
I don't know. I'm watching the Hunger Games. I'm getting ready to start the Mockingjay or whatever, part 1.
Mockingjay. That's right. I forgot they split
the final 2. They do that in everything.
Yeah.
Just because they grab a little bit more cash, and there's a lot. They did it right. They tell the story.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm glad they don't cut things out.
It's
important.
They did well in that. I will give the Hunger Games trilogy again thumbs up. I've had like a break from it. I haven't had a chance to watch any TV for the past few days, so get back into it. Hopefully tonight, maybe we'll see.
Let's go play some D&D.
D&D.
Guitars.
Get your 20-sided dice out and let's rock and roll. Spend a lot of time alone. I like
Bam.
that. That's what we do.
Bam.
Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
Have a beautiful day.